Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Emily, and this is just a channel where we can all talk about Elvis together. Of course, a lot of these videos are just my opinions. Some other ones are more of a factual thing, or at least researched and tried to be as factual as possible. But sometimes it's just opinions, and that's what this video is going to be. And I just wanted to say that up front, because we're going to be talking about Lisa Marie Presley's new book. I have read all of this. I have also listened to the audio book as well. I finished the audio book in like a day and a half before I got this book, because I was waiting for my copy when I attended the book tour lecture or evening with just a little question and answer hour-long thing that they've got going on the book tour. And so I've got my signed copy. I'll have some better pictures of this up so you can see. I think it's really cool. Very simple Riley autograph. So this video is actually going to be a little bit different than I had planned. It was just going to be a review, my thoughts on this book. But after really not even purposely seeing some of the YouTube videos that have been popping up, I feel like there's something that needs to be addressed. And that is the parts on Priscilla in this book. Now, I do not have a negative opinion of anybody that is a part of the Elvis story. That's not what comes to mind, that I need to have a negative opinion on a certain person in the whole Elvis realm, a part of the story, because they all are a part of the story. It's not my job to think negatively of someone. There's way many more people who will do that for free, and sometimes try to make money off of it. And I feel like that's what's happening right now. I have seen so many Priscilla hater videos. Like, it's crazy. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later in this video, because I want to point out some things to people who may not have the best intentions when it comes to these types of videos and being an Elvis fan. Because to me, if you're an Elvis fan, why would you be so ugly about the mother of his child who has passed away? It's weird. And so I think that we need to dive in a little bit deeper on that part of the book and understand and how to be I mean, you can have your own opinions, right? And if you want to have a negative opinion, hey, that is completely up to you. That is your right. But I want to see if we can be just a little bit more mindful of things. If we can understand some things deeper that I think either are just going over these people's heads, or it's purposely to get a lot of views, because just look at social media these days. I mean, if you post something negative, it's going to get a lot more views than something that's being seen as a positive thing or a more mindful, interaction with it. So we'll get to that. And we'll also get to the evening with. I'll tell you about my experience. I attended the one in Nashville. There's only a handful of these things, right? I think, of course, we had the Memphis one that kind of started all this mumbo jumbo. And then the Nashville one, there was a St. Louis one, New York, I think, maybe. And then she's going to London, Riley, to do one. And then maybe back to LA, and then that may be it. I may be wrong, but there's not many. So I was very fortunate to get to see her speak in person. That was at Belmont, and we'll get to that. But first, let's just get an overall review of this book. I think that, it was a great cover choice. She spoke at the evening with Riley about how they went about picking this. And I think that it was a really cool choice. And she said that the reason that Elvis was in here kind of halfway is because of it was to symbolize his presence, but it was supposed to be, about Lisa Marie and her story. The title, From Here to the Great Unknown, you may know by now, is a song. I think it was the last duet that she did with him. You know how they take the old recordings and then have her record a duet part with it. And so that's really cool. The one thing that I don't like about this, and Oprah, I love you to death, but I hate when they put the book club or the award that they win. Like, if it's a sticker, that's fine. I can remove it and maybe put it on the inside. But when they incorporate it into the cover, I just can't stand that, because book covers, I think a lot about them, and I just feel like it's part of the whole piece of art. But Oprah's book club is not a part of the art of the work here, and so that's my beef with that. Here's what the spine looks like with the back, and then I'll put up maybe some B-roll on this so that you can see everything, and if you want to read the insert and all of that, I think that'll be fine. And yeah, so there's some pictures in here as well. I wish that they were maybe colored pictures, maybe a few more. That would have been nice. I know it's not a picture book, but a lot of times, especially in the nonfiction category, it's nice to have those pictures to go along with some of these stories. Oh, I think this is just like one of the best pictures ever. Isn't that sweet? That's such a good picture. It's a very quick read. One of the things that I'll point out, just so you know, is that this part right here, and we'll get a better shot later on, is showing you what font that when Lisa Marie is speaking. So Lisa Marie's voice will be in this font, and then Riley's voice will be in this font. So I thought that was really cool. And then the Audible version, or wherever you get your audiobooks, Julia Roberts did a fantastic job reading Lisa Marie's part. I think that's fine. I think somebody was complaining about that, but have you ever heard Julia Roberts speak? Like, she's a fantastic actress as well. Like, she did a great job with this. I thought it was a really good choice. There's also parts of the audiobook that Riley had included the tapes of Lisa Marie talking. And so if you want a really, really cool experience, you can listen to the audio version of this and read along. Or you can just get the audio version or the book version. They'll all give you a great experience and a great knowledge of Lisa Marie's story, along with Riley's recollection of a lot of these memories as well. And she explains, when she is speaking, why she's filling in certain parts. I think you get all of that in the preface there. So overall, fantastic. A lot of stuff that Lisa included in a short read. Like, this doesn't take very long, and it's just so well written. And I believe a lot of it was just directly from the tapes that Lisa Marie did in trying to complete this book. There's some really cool stuff in the very beginning with Elvis. There's some unique things with Elvis. A couple of stories that I hadn't heard. One that involves a snowmobile at Graceland. So that was kind of funny. Pretty much from start to finish, though, it's a lot of heartache. There's some good stuff in here as far as good times and more upbeat things, but Lisa, she had some tragedy, some tragic things that happened in her life, and they were everlasting. And I honestly, it might not have even been just up until she passed away that she started to deal with her grief and a group setting or a more therapeutic setting. with other people who have gone through some similar things. It touches on all of that. And so just anybody who is an Elvis fan, a Lisa Marie fan, you'll really enjoy this book. Be mindful with it. And just, these are other people's lives. And if there's something that you can relate to, then I hope it helps you out. As far as the negative opinions go, I mean, it's probably not for you if that's just something that you can't help doing. I mean, I'm not trying to tell you to read something that's going to make you, say mean things or think mean things. I think it's something that would help you. And even if it's not something that you've ever experienced like myself, I think that you can be mindful of it and learn to be mindful of others who have gone through some similar things that Lisa Marie went through and that she's letting us all read about. She's really opening up her personal life to us by writing this book. And with that being said, get a little coffee before we jump into it. To all the people who are making the Priscilla hater videos, and if you've watched any of them, first of all, I'm sorry that you have watched them. No. And I didn't even know if I was going to say anything because I don't want this channel to be a complaining channel like a lot of the other ones are, and they just want to post the negative to get views. So what I'm seeing a lot is everybody is trying to badmouth Priscilla because they've read some sections in here about Lisa's childhood and Priscilla's involvement in it, or lack of involvement, maybe I should say. And they were pissed off that Priscilla showed up at the Memphis book question and answer evening with Riley and Nicole Richie. I mean, I'm going to say right now that that was not a surprise. They're not going to spring Priscilla on Riley as a surprise, right? Like she knew she was there, whether it was kind of more of an audience reaction thing. She's going to know she's there. I mean, that's her grandmother. She sees her a lot. They've posted very recently. I feel like the media, and I feel like a lot of things on social media, and I do consider YouTube a part of social media because some people use it as that. And there's a lot of negative talks about Priscilla, and they want to say that she tried to steal Riley's spotlight by coming out as a surprise. There's no surprise in show business, people. It's not. Have we not learned that from reality TV? It's all scripted. It's all scripted. And if you didn't know that, well, sorry to ruin that for you, but it's all scripted. So we all know that Lisa and Priscilla had a difficult relationship. I think it had its ups. I think that it had its downs, obviously. But I do think that they were more cordial to each other than not, okay? But it starts out, we'll read a little section here where Lisa's talking about how, by this point in my life, my mother's role was just to be a chronic stop sign. She didn't try to talk to me, hang out with me, be a friend. I was very much in love with my father's side. They were wildly colorful people, and I related to them in ways I couldn't with my mother. Okay, but then she goes on to say, I know she tried her best. She was trying to figure things out and grow up too. And I gave her a genuinely hard time. I never yelled at her, never mouthed off to her, cussed at her, was never violent around her, anything like that. I was just despondent, extremely melancholy, moody, dark. I'm sure she had no idea what to do with that. Okay, so that sets the tone on where we're at with mother-daughter relationship here. Let's not forget how young Priscilla was when she was sort of pulled out of childhood and kind of thrown in this other world. I'm not going to get into the age thing. That's not the mission here. You can have your own opinions about that. We've known it for a long time. Let's be honest. Not a lot of learning parenting skills, not having a co-parent. Those are some things that we've got to be mindful of. These are real life things. These are real life struggles that happen, not just with Priscilla and Lisa Marie Presley, okay? Then we are seeing Priscilla in an abusive relationship with somebody who obviously thinks a lot of themselves, who has a temper, who is a drug addict, and who is constantly fighting physically, and Lisa Marie would hear her mother screaming. Okay? Let's be mindful of that. I'm going to say that a lot, actually. People who are in an abusive, controlling relationship, they feel like they're, maybe you and I don't understand that on a level because it's never happened to us, but we need to be mindful of the people who have. You can very easily judge Priscilla, or you can understand the relationship that she's in is a controlling one. Why people ask all the time, why doesn't the woman or the wife just leave the abusive relationship? Because it's not as simple as that. It's not. Like, you can't just jump into thinking someone is awful or that they are the abusive one. Priscilla, this may have been something that Priscilla felt that she couldn't leave. She was scared to leave. So keep that in mind. Like, all of these things we have to keep in mind. So another part here that Lisa says, there was a lot of violence in the house. I would hear my mom scream and cry. He'd be throwing shit. I wanted to protect her. I didn't know how. So this section kind of wraps up when Priscilla finds out that he's having an affair on her. And he would be able to manipulate his way back. Even if she had caught him with someone else, he was able, as in Lisa's words, he had turned into a puppy dog again, begging her to go back to him. Just the words that Lisa Marie is using, he had turned into a puppy dog. She's describing how he was. Puppy dogs are non-threatening. So he could flip it that quick. This is a manipulator. This is basically a sociopath. Priscilla was obviously being physically abused by him. So was Lisa Marie. But it's just not that easy, folks. It's not that easy to leave. And I really hope that if you do come across those videos that is really Priscilla hating and just being ugly, saying just like the most ugliest things about her, you need to take a step back or 5 steps back and actually read the parts in this book instead of just, sort of interpreting them as Priscilla was allowing sexual abuse to go on. This was a woman who was being abused herself. And, just like when you want to say, oh, well, why didn't she just leave then? It's not that easy. Go read some articles on women who try to leave their abusers. It's not easy. So please keep that in mind when you are making videos or you're posting things. And don't get me wrong, a lot of those videos are people who just won't clickbait. They are even the ones that have set up and filmed the entire book tour evening with, it's very scammy. And again, these are all my opinions, right? I know to admit that. But I do think that we need to be a little bit more mindful when it comes to those things. And I just wanted to, maybe I feel like I have to protect them. It's kind of how this whole book goes. Okay, but that's enough on that. Okay, I've said my piece. Let's move on. Some other really cool parts of this book. I really love the Michael Jackson part. It's under the chapter Mimi. Love that. I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan, by the way. I think that it was a really, really cool, really honest account of her relationship with Michael. and very interesting. She had a very interesting life, and a lot of tragedy too. But it is nice to hear how Lisa was coming out of that sort of dark time in her life, even though it was towards the end. But yeah, some really cool stories in here. This is a really good book for anybody who likes autobiographies, just learning about if you're, dealing with some struggles and grief. I think this would be a really good book for you. So let's move on to what the night with was like. So the one that I went to was held at Belmont University. If you're not familiar with that, it's a private college in Nashville. And the moderator that they have chosen was Holly Williams. Holly Williams is Hank Williams Jr.'s daughter. And I have to be really honest about this. And I don't want to say anything real negative, but it's just my opinion. I was a little bit disappointed because I don't know why she was picked as a moderator. She comes out on stage and says that they just met 4 minutes ago backstage. So that was weird. I would have thought that it would have been somebody that she knew, like the other ones. And it was very, she had her questions on the cards and just asked the questions. They were very basic questions that we already heard from all of the other interviews that Riley's given, and it just seemed real stale. The backdrop wasn't like the other ones where it was like the whole screen. Honestly, I think they should have just had pictures the whole time, like just snapshots and stuff like that. That would have made it a little bit more intimate feeling. I just I don't even know what to say about it. It was an hour long, and then she kept looking at the clock in front of her like, okay, I've got 9 minutes left. I don't really understand. There was a couple little things that was interesting that I hadn't heard before. Was kind of how Riley got into acting and stuff, and it was because she liked to make little films as a child and get her brother Ben to act in them. And she said they were mostly like little like scary movies, horror movies, because she really loved horror movies, and it was because Lisa loved horror movies, and they grew up watching them. So spooky season, so I thought that was cool for her to mention. There was really nothing special about it, other than getting to be in the same room with Riley. That was cool. They even had the chairs turned so far in that you couldn't even really see her as much as you could Holly. I feel like Holly spoke more than Riley did. It was just not what I expected, and thought it could have been a lot better. It was very quick in and out too. And then when it was over, I was gathered, like putting my stuff like in my arms so I could stand up and give a standing ovation, and nobody got up. Not one person got up. I thought that was really strange, and so she just kind of hurriedly walked off, which I don't blame her, because it was pretty stupid. I have no idea why Holly Williams was the moderator for that, other than the fact that she basically compared herself to Riley every chance she could, saying that she's had people in her family die, her sibling passed away. But maybe that's why they got her. And I love the bookstore that put it on. It's a local bookstore in Nashville, Parnassus. And I just felt like it was just, I don't know, like the people who were checking the bags were yelling at people who had too big of a purse. They kept telling the people in line, like, you need to think about getting smaller purses. And I just thought that was weird. Like, okay, you barely even looked at them for one. And then as soon as you walked in, they were just like handing, like, here's your book. Like, here, like they had to like holding all the books, and they're like, here you go. Like, it was just so, I don't know, just felt cheap. I don't know. It was a $35 ticket, and you got a book signed. I love that it's signed. I wish we could have stood in line and got it signed or something, but I don't know. Maybe that was just something that Riley didn't want to do. And you know, you can't get mad at somebody for not wanting to do that. Anyways, I think that the whole, at least the Nashville one, could have been a lot better. But yeah, so I guess with that, all of that to say, I hope you got something out of this video. I know it wasn't like the most upbeat video that I've made, but I just felt like I needed to take the time to say those things about Priscilla and about the people that I don't understand it. I really don't. And I want to be like, you know, you're judging somebody that you have no idea who they are. You've only know them through what lens you want to see them through. Because there's all these lenses, you know, when somebody is well-known celebrity, you've got a million different lenses that you can see that person through, because this person made a video on them. This person did an article on them. This person did a movie on them. This person did, you know, a book on them. Like, you have all these different lenses, and you take those as fact and how it is. And I feel like if those people actually wanted to understand instead of hate on someone, then you would have just taken the time to just comprehend the sentence a little bit and be a little bit mindful and think of all the other people out there who may have gone through the same situation. And it would be pretty upsetting if you were to go and say something bad about somebody who is comparable to them in the same situation as being evil. Come on. Don't do that. All right, y'all. Pick this book up. It's fantastic. I know you'll just love it. But anyways, thanks so much for checking out this video. Hope you got something out of it. Hope you learned something. Hope you will take something with you from this video. All right. If it is something that you did like, hit that thumbs up. It'll help us climb out through the algorithm that is all of the ELVIS videos of YouTube. And if this is something that you want to continue to support, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. It's going to help us build as a community here. So with that being said, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.